Hey guys, what do you do? Okay, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shanique Beckford. I'm the pastor of Elevation Center. Okay, why is this lagging? Okay, great. So welcome back to my video. It's good to have you again. Not as you join. Listen, guys, I'm so used to doing Facebook Live. I'm still adapting to this YouTube thing. But as you watch this video, I want you to like, I want you to share this video with someone, and I want you to please subscribe. Help us to reach 1K. My goal is to reach our 1K followers, and then we can continue to grow the family. Okay, thank you. Gracias. Como se dice? Whatever other language you speak, thank you. Okay, so today I wanted to share with you some of the struggles I had to undergo as a prophet of God. I'll tell you the honest truth. As a prophet, being called as a prophetess, as a prophet of God, I've really had to go through some things, some of which are very popular to some of you guys, very common to some of you guys, as you are called as well. So you've had to experience similar things that I may have went through. But my story, very interesting. Initially, I had no idea that I was called to the prophetic, and so I didn't know how to embrace it. I was going through a series of events in my life, and I just thought I was bad looking. I just thought maybe I was cursed. I thought maybe I was no good. I was good for nothing. Everything was a struggle. Everything was difficult. And so I struggled with finding my identity and who I really was. At high school, from primary to high school, growing up, I've always wanted to be a police officer, a detective, and a pastor. I've always wanted to be a pastor. But the funny thing is, I did my JCF test. I did 2 tests. I did my interviews, and I pretty much passed. I was just about to go into training when I had my first son. So I had my first son. I have 2 sons. I had my first son at 20 years old. I was about to go into training when I had my son, and so I had to wait it out. By the time my son was here, I decided I don't want to be a part of the police force anymore, lest somebody may just come and shoot me, and I am buried 6 feet under. My son is here without a mother. So that was my scare. So I opted not to be a police officer. The next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to do business. So I relocated from Clarendon to Kingston, and I started going to business. I started studying business at college. Into a year and a half, I was going to church every day when I should be doing my assignments, my projects, studying for exams. I'm not home. I'm finding crusades to go to. I'm finding conferences to go to. And I'm at this church, that church, everywhere, anywhere. And at a year and a half, I decided I don't want to study business anymore. My passion is church. My passion is God. My passion is ministry. And so after a year and a half in college, I called my mother and I said, Mom, I'm sorry to waste a year and a half of your money. You killed the cow, you sold the goats, you sold the pigs. All that you had to do to send me to college, I'm sorry. And she was like, you're wasting my money. You don't know what you want. What am I going to do with you? Something is wrong with you. There was so much that was said, not just from my family, but friends. But I left, and I applied into Jamaica Theological Seminary, and I started seminary. I started Bible school. When I started Bible school, while going to Bible school, preparing and being taught how to go into pastoral and counseling, I went to a church in Kingston, popular church in Kingston, and the prophet called me into his office. And he, very prophetic prophet, some of you probably know him, Prophet Michael Carter. I remember the day I was in church and he was prophesying to everybody. And he said to me, I want to see you in office. By then, I wanted to wet myself. I was sweating buckets. I was trembling, scared, because here I am thinking, if prophet prophesied to everybody else, what made him call me in the office? Guys, I started to trace everything that I did. I started to recall every scene, every lie, everything I did, and I started to say, God, please forgive me. God, please forgive me. Please don't let this prophet find my sins out. Please don't let this prophet see what I did last night. And he told me that I was called to the prophetic, and God was not calling me to pastor at that time. Listen, when this prophet told me that I'm called to the prophetic, and he prayed with me that day, when I left, all hell broke loose. Everything in my life started going AY. It was pure chaos. And so immediately I started encountering a lot of disappointments. I was way into Bible school, and I remember I was getting ready to do my exams, only to be told, guys, that I could not do my exam because I haven't paid a certain amount of my school fee as yet. But what I didn't understand is I paid a certain amount, but there were persons who paid less than I did that got to do their exam, but I couldn't do my exam. Listen, God was at work. He was preparing me for the prophetic, and I did not know. And so I was greatly disappointed. The house I was living in, the lady started cursing me out. The lady started saying, you have to leave. You can't stay here anymore. And she was saying, you're praying too much in my house. She had a son that died years ago, and she started to wear all black clothes. She sold her car. She had a black car. She was wearing everything that was black. She was now going to the grave of her son, maybe like 2-3 times per week. And so she didn't want me praying in the house, because maybe she probably felt that while I was praying, this demonic spirit that she was entertaining, that she thought it was her son, would probably leave. And so this woman said I had to leave. I remember at one point she locked me out of the house for no reason. She locked me out, and she locked me out. I remember I had to ask my friends, can I sleep at your house tonight? I asked one friend to sleep at their house. They wouldn't allow me to. And then I finally got somewhere to sleep. Now, while I was experiencing this, I had family. I had family back in the country. I also had family in Kingston. But when these times come, the family that you thought would have been there for you, they're not really there. I never wanted to go back to the country because I moved to the Kingston, and I wanted to make my life better. That way I could go back and help my mom and my grandfather and my son and my other family members. So I refused to go back. And so I remember a church sister told me, okay, they know this guy, he has an extra space, and so I could stay there. Now, I had nowhere else to go. I went there that night. It was very rough. It was very hard. But anyways, the night went through okay, and I left. And the next morning I went to work. When I got to work, I got fired that day from work. How I got the job, the house I was staying at, the lady knew the manager, so she hooked me up. And after she hooked me up and she kicked me out, she called the person and she said, I don't know what she said, but all I know is I got laid off from work. I had no money. By then, I had no clothes. I literally wore an underwear for more hours than I should. I'm so ashamed. I had no money. I had nothing. I had nothing. But I went to a friend in Portmore, and she allowed me to stay with her for a night. I got to bathe. I got to shower. Her grandmother probably didn't want me to stay there, so she had to hide me, snuck me in. So I got to sleep there that night. I went back to the house, demanded my stuff. I got my stuff and I moved. Funny story, when I moved, I was living in this another house in Portmore I rented, and the landlord, so the person that got the house for me, the person that this is so hard melted. It is, I don't like to revisit these memories, but it really keeps me grounded from time to time. The house I was staying at, the man I don't know, the person, the guy that got, the church brother that got the house for me, apparently must have sent some messages to the guy's computer. I saw them, and he was asking him, have you slapped that as yet? And I was reading it, and I was like, what in the hell and the heavens? Have you slapped that as yet? And I was like, you are my church brother. Why would you say that? Now, I've forgiven people. This is what I don't like. Because you have forgiven someone, they say don't share the testimony because you don't want to bring stuff up. You don't want to hurt anybody. I've forgiven every person that this has happened to. I still speak to them. But this is my story. This is my testimony. This helps someone. I remember the room I was staying in. I locked my doors, went to bed. This man apparently had other spare keys, and he came in on me, and he tried to rape me. Guys, it was not cool. It was not cool. It was not cool. It was not cool. The next morning, I had to get up and pack my bag. I had to go to a house. I had to move to another place that was not even ready to be rented. Guys, by then I probably lived in maybe over 4 houses in less than 1 year. The struggles were very real. I struggled to find out what it is that God wanted me to do. Every single area of my life was a struggle. While I was going through this, I was having experiences of seeing hell. But the thing about going through the struggles, I've been humiliated. I've been embarrassed. I've been through some things. It's just almost too much to share on our Facebook. On YouTube. I told you guys I do too many Facebook lives on YouTube. But some of the things I've been through, they're quite horrible. They're quite embarrassing. But whenever God has called you, he will develop you. And sometimes God allows you to go through these things. And these are some of the things that shape you and sharpen your spiritual gifts. Every time something bad happened in my life, right before it happened, God would have given me a dream prior to the incident that would happen. And so by doing this, he would make me alert and he would make me aware. And so before something happened, I saw it ahead of time. And so I was able to either pray against it, or I was able to pray and ask God for strength and to brace myself. That way when it comes, my feet are on the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? So some of the things I went through, humiliation, rejection. God will allow people to reject you. That way, when you come into the prophetic, people will still continue to reject you. But when you are accustomed and used to rejection and your flesh is broken, your flesh is destroyed, you don't have to try to hamburger a prophecy. By making a hamburger prophecy, I mean I'm making something up, because persons who are not processed are developed. To avoid being rejected, they will make up a prophetic word that they assume the person wants to hear, and so they will prophesy what people want to hear, so they will accept them. And so by doing this, they will prophesy, oh, you're gonna get a car tomorrow, you're gonna get a new house tomorrow, I see you getting married, I see prosperity and wealth coming into your house, when really God is saying you're going to struggle, and after you struggle, then I'm gonna bless you, or whatever it is. But when you have been rejected, when you have been disappointed, when you have been humiliated, when God gives you a word for a nation, for the church, when God gives you a word for someone, because you have been rejected in the wilderness, now that you're on the pulpit and the forefront, now you're on the stage in front of the cameras, if nobody wants to accept your word, that's fine with you. You don't need nobody to accept you. You don't need nobody to affirm or to confirm you, because your flesh has already been broken in the past. There's some of you that's watching this video, and you're saying that you're going through a lot. It is not uncommon for you to go through things. If you align yourself with the right church, if you find a spiritual mentor, spiritual father or mother that can help to guide you along the path. There's some things that you can overcome. There's certain pitfalls that you can avoid falling into because they have walked, they have trod the path, and so now they can guide you along because they know what the experiences are like. And if you're watching this video and you need a spiritual mentor, you don't have a pastor or a home church, you can feel free to comment down below, or you can hit me up in my email in the description if you need to be mentored or you need someone to help you to bring guidance to your spiritual walk or the prophetic experience that you're now going through. You can send me a message, and I will see how best if I'm taking any more mentees in this season. But God will break your flesh. He will destroy your flesh until you come to a place of complete surrender, because flesh cannot walk in the prophetic. When it comes to the prophetic, your flesh does not have a say. When God gives you a divine word, it cannot become contaminated by the word of God cannot become contaminated by your flesh or your emotions. And so God has to break you. God has to mold you and make you into the person that he wants you to be. Now you may be struggling, you may be crying, you may be homeless, you may have been abused, you may have been raped, you may have been talking about, they may reject you. I want you to understand, the Bible says that a prophet is not honored in his own country. Family will not accept you. Some of your family will not accept you. Some of your friends will not accept you. Not everybody will accept you, but you know when you come out of this, you will be fine. When you have the prophetic, there's a voice that is within you. You're a voice to the nations. There's someone that God has set up that is awaiting your voice and the prophetic mantle that is on your life. And also you must understand that as a prophet and a child, a minister of God, you're never sent to everybody. You're not sent to go to everybody. Not everybody will accept you. Not everybody will love you. And so the testing you're going through now, you may not be able to pay your rent. You may not be able to buy food or to pay your school fee. But this is just a process. This is just God developing the prophetic within you. You will be okay. You will be all right. A couple of years from now, you'll be sitting in front of a camera, maybe like me, or you'll be doing mentorship or prophetic workshops to someone else. And the story, whatever you're experiencing now will become your story in days to come. And you will tell somebody else. See, what you're going through now is not for you. What you're going through now, it's not for you. It's for somebody else that's going through the same thing. And so never be ashamed of your story. Never be ashamed of what you have been through or what you're going through, because God will use it to help someone else or to bring someone else out. And so this is just my story. This is just what some of the things I went through. Maybe I need to sit down and do a more detailed video. But if you're interested in something like that, if you're interested in more testimonies or a more detailed video of what I've been through, I want you to comment down below in the description. If you've encountered anything I shared earlier in this video, comment below. Let me know what your experiences are. If you're being rejected, if you're being afflicted, if people are tormenting you, Jezebels are after you, if they put you to the back bench of your church, let me know in the comments below what you're going through and what it is that you want me to share with you in details as it relates to the prophetic and my journey in coming into the prophetic. As I go, I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Please to like, please to go to the right of your screen and just smash that subscribe button. Subscribe, share with someone. Let us be a blessing to someone. Let us help somebody as we go along in Jesus' name. God bless you guys.